Welcome to Crime Time News and Entertainment with a Buzz. One of the buzzing topics over social media is an issue that a young man has. His name is Michael Reed, known as Cornerstone Boss in the streets. He said that when he was 14-year-old, he was taken away and a man touched him up. That man's name is Mr. Buchanan. Now, since then, we see that a lot of persons on social media are saying, boy, this youth family never really look out for him. That man that he trusted never really looked out for him. The Popo is not doing their job. Jamaicans for Justice is not doing their job. Well, people, he did an interview with TVJ News less than a day or so ago. And all of the parties that are involved, meaning Mr. Reed, he spoke, meaning the Popo, meaning Jamaicans for Justice. So people, I want you to take a listen, take a look to exactly what the Popo had to say. I want you to listen to what Jamaicans for Justice has to say. And most importantly, I want you to listen to what Mr. Michael has to say.
The person in question was taken to custody. He was pointed out on an ID parade and the matter was brought before the court. The accused was granted bail at the court in this matter. Thereafter, on subsequent court date, he did not appear, and as such, a warrant was issued for his arrest.
We are asking the citizens who are aware of this man's whereabouts to assist us in apprehending him for justice to be served. We are also asking Mr. Alfred Buchanan, who is accused in this matter, to report to the nearest police station by 10 a.m. tomorrow morning.
So people, you hear what the Popo has to say. Now when it comes to the JCF, one thing that we know, they have a whole bunch of talk, but a little bit of action behind this. They are always reactive instead of proactive. It seems as if they don't take many cases very seriously, unless, of course, it is somebody in the upper echelon of society. If it's a little ghetto youth, then maybe not so much. So what we heard in this case, based on what the Popo had to say, is that, yes, there was an identification parade in which Mr. Reed said in an interview that he did. That man was arrested. He was officially charged. However, that man was out on bail. Not only for that case, that man had many cases as it pertains to jump over fence of Little Pitney. So therefore, that would make him a Kellogg, that would make him a serial jump over fence for the Little Pitneyism. We hear the Popo say, the residents or anybody that knows him need to put him out there, call him out, give the Popo information, and then they said, the suspect needs to turn in himself by 10 o'clock this morning, which would have been today, which would be today, sorry. Now, people, don't you realize that I don't know if the Popo JCF is overwhelmed, that means an underman and overwork, or it is just negligence and incompetence. Nothing seems to be any sorts of priority, nothing seems to be any sorts of emergency. Even the most vulnerable amongst us, meaning women, meaning children, meaning elderly, there is no sorts of priority when it comes to this. And most importantly, the court system. How is it that a person that is suspected allegations of touching up many Little Pitney is out on bail? It seems as if these judges are throwing some sorts of sympathy party as it pertains to that. So that was the Popo side, our take on the issue. Listen to what Mr. Michael has to say, and then I'll give my piece.
I would have trusted him to protect me, and he took me away and he did things to me, and then asked me to be silent about it. However, I did not keep silent about it, and I went ahead and tell everyone in the community. And you know, they mock me about it, they laugh at me, they jeer me and say, I lie me, I tell. Every time I call and ask about it, I wasn't getting any good news from it. So I said, all right then, you know, 2022 for me, the same thing, I'm not getting no good word. 2023 now, I started to make some inquiries about it again. And it wasn't going nowhere. Earlier on in this year, I called the Lucy police station and I asked about the incident. And they turned to me and said that they're going to check on the matter and get back to me. And that there are many young persons out there, especially males, who are going through the same thing that I am going through, and they are afraid to actually talk about it. So me coming and speaking about it, it actually that's how I am healing basically. Currently, I am giving the police the full trust to have the issue resolved. I have no intentions of creating no harm. What I want is just some closure.
So people, this is the victim that you just heard from, Mr. Michael. Pretty much, he trusted a man. The man made some sort of offer to him at 14 that he was going to take him out on some sort of PUMS heads mission by a young girl. He was 14 at the time, so therefore that man was wrong, point blank and period. However, it seems as if this man just tricked him and then want to jump over the fence. He want him to lay down upon him belly and then he want to give him some sorts of man backers. However, the man decides him kind of too scared, so therefore he decided that he was going to blow on him. Either way you take it, a little picnic, burglar in a Jamaica, it is wrong, wrong, wrong. No sorts of right, no sorts of justification. So whatever he did was totally wrong against this youth. This youth trusted him because he was considered one of the big men in the place, so therefore the youth thought that he would not violate him. However, he would violate him in the worst way. What makes it even worse is that after he was violated and he went and he told the community did not defend him. The community started to bash him, say him a lie, because you know how Jamaican poor people are. They are going to pick up for the person with the money, and the victim is going to be further victimized. Such is the case in this case. The youth make it known, so all right, him get locked up for a little while. He came back out and he was wondering how he's not hearing anything about the case. 2021, same thing. 2022, same thing. 2023, same thing. Slow motion. So he decided that he was going to go to the Popo and check up on exactly what is the status of that. Now, people, do you know the balls, the gauze, the intestinal fortitude, the strength, the courage that you have to do something like this as a youth at 14-year-old and even as an adult at 20-year-old? Because like you hear him say him get bashed in the community, people are say it look like you are a fish. Now, this is how insensitive Jamaicans are. You as a youth get victimized by a man, and then they must say you're a fish. They must make it seem as if you get violated, so therefore you are corrupt. So on top of not helping him, they are bashing him, so therefore they are discouraging him. However, he still went to his parents and he went to the Popo and nothing has happened. He went to Jamaican for Justice and he felt as if nothing was happening. 2020, 2021, 22, 23, whatever the years are. And then in 2024, he decided that he is going to put it on social media. He is going to the Popo station. He is going to get some sorts of justice by the hook or by the crook. And to show you the type of character that this youth has, he said that he did this to encourage other victims like himself, male or female, that it is okay to talk. Don't listen to the naysayers. Don't listen to the negativity. If you want justice, you have to go out there and get your own justice, because people, it seems as if the Popo, unless you are pushing them, unless you are juking them in them side, they are not going to move. They are very lazy. They are very lackadaisical. So people, we heard from the Popo, we heard from Mr. Michael himself. Listen what Jamaican for Justice has to say, and then I'll give my piece.
We offer court companionship, ensures that the victim is aware of what is happening in court proceedings. If there is not seriousness to the report being taken by the state, we will advocate on their behalf.
Now, people, when it comes to Jamaicans for Justice, it is like in the come. They face a whole bunch of roadblocks. They face a whole bunch of obstacles getting any sorts of information, especially from the Popo, who, like I said, are very lackadaisical. It seems as if our Popo don't do much investigation. So therefore, even though these persons are representing the victims, they can't go very far unless them get information, unless, of course, the suspect is arrested, taken into custody, and the case proceeds based on the investigation by the Popo. So therefore, they are caught with their hands tied behind them because of the negligence and incompetence of the pace of justice in Jamaica. So therefore, the victim becomes victimized once again, point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news, it is called You Never See Smoke Without Fire. Because the last time that we heard from our finance minister, Nigel Clark, was in December of 2023. That is almost a year ago as it pertains to any sorts of update, as it pertains to SSL and the 200 accounts, equivalents to $30 million, equivalents to 4.7 billion Jamaican dollars. Now, since then, we saw that the PNP came out and they spoke about all the controversy that has been going on with Andrew Holness as it pertains to 28 bank accounts. One of those bank accounts that was open and immediately or a day after, there was a deposit of about 150,000 US dollars coming from SSL. We saw that Usain Bolt made some posts on his social media handle maybe less than 2 days ago, and it says, they are depending on the country boys' love for the country. But ask yourself, do they love the country or love themselves? Most persons with any sorts of sense would say that Usain Bolt was throwing some sorts of subliminal at the country and specifically Andrew Holness because he felt as if he is not getting any sorts of justice. Well, people, like I said, the finance minister has finally responded 10 months later. And pretty much he is giving an update as to what is going on. He said that the investigation is comprehensive. There's a whole bunch of file, a whole bunch of paperwork that they have to go through. The FID, Financial Investigative Division, that is working under CRAL, that is the international auditing group that they hired, paid them a whole bunch of money to investigate, audit the files. So he said that the FID and CRAL, they are collaborating, and the FID has met with the DA's office, Paula Llewellyn, and them a couple of times as late as last month. And if there's more arrests to be made, it will be made. They are waiting on 3 more statements. As a matter of fact, I wanted to take a look to what your finance minister has to say, and then I'll give my piece.
I've been informed that since that time, the FID and the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions have met on several occasions, including within the last month, in regards to the review of the comprehensive and voluminous SSL investigative file. Among other things, the Office of Director of Public Prosecutions has recommended that the FID collects 3 further statements, the process of which has already commenced. I totally understand the frustration and the desire for tangible results. I share these feelings too. However, I ask the public to reflect on the fact that there can be no better demonstration of transparency in this matter than our decision to procure the services of an international forensic audit firm to support an independent and thorough investigation, as we have done.
So people, you heard what the finance minister has to say. The file is voluminous. The file is comprehensive. He knows that persons are losing faith. So therefore, this is just to let us know that, listen, we are working on it because of the volume of the files. It is taking longer, and we do not want to make any sorts of mistake. So if is the operative word, we make any sorts of arrests, these people are not going to come back with their lawyers and beat it on any sorts of technicality. Because you and I know, as it pertains to Jamaica, people with money, they will beat all sorts of high-profile case based on just technicality, based on flaws. The prosecutor always seems to drop the ball. Psych, 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 quint. Now, people, don't you realize the double standard as it pertains to justice in Jamaica. We see that in this case, Jean Panton is the only person that has been arrested. We see that the people that control the criminal organization, the whole fraud, yes, they might have had a couple of question and answer sessions. However, they have not been arrested. There are no sorts of suspect, even worse, a person of interest. So when the finance minister is telling us that, listen, just be patient, how much patience should we have? We heard that the FBI was here. We're not hearing anything about the FBI anymore. We hear Sakral and FID are investigating. People want results, and we are not getting any sorts of result. Especially, and not most importantly, the fact that Usain Bolt made his post, the fact that there is some sorts of controversy as it pertains to Andrew Holness. It seems as if the finance minister and the government is doing some sorts of damage control. This is more psych than action, point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news, it is called, why is the kettle calling the pot black? Make it make sense. This is a controversy that we see brewing all over social media, in the news, in the political sphere, for a couple of days ago, when it is said that the PNP nominee for Portland is Isaac Buchanan. Now people, especially from the JLP, are up in arms because they say that this man is severely character flawed, based on the fact that he has 2 criminal convictions, not only just 2 criminal convictions for DRUGS, one in Jamaica and I think one in the United States. Now people, when we think about this man can represent going to the court of law, which is law. However, he cannot represent in the political sphere, which is lawless, which is corrupt. And when we think about the whole thing, that does not make any sorts of sense. These are the lawmakers that made these rules, laws, and regulations, saying that if you get a conviction, you are redeemable. That means once you go through the protocol to become some sorts of lawyer, you can become some sorts of lawyer, which is exactly what Isaac Buchanan did. He did everything within the realms of the law. So therefore, how is it now these persons are calling foul in the middle of the game? You cannot change a rule in the middle of the game unless, of course, it is ulterior motive. Unless, of course, it is politicized, which is exactly what is going on. Now, people, based on their issue that they have with the PNP and Isaac Buchanan specifically, is that he is a convicted drug dealer. Well, people, here is some facts. There's a person that is representing the JLP specifically in Morant Bay. His name is Louis Chin. This is his picture on the screen right here as I speak. Mr. Louis Chin, along with his other family members, document on the screen as I speak, were convicted of being a part of a drug cartel conspiracy in the United States, specifically in Florida. Documents on the screen as I speak, like I said. Now, people, this man is now representing the JLP in Morant Bay, like I told you, showed you his picture. So therefore, that is why I say the pot is calling the kettle black. It seems as if when it comes to the JLP and the PNP, it is not a race of who can be morally and ethically right, clean, squeaky clean like some sorts of whistle Jesus Power record. It is about who can have the most choppers, who can have the most smugglers, who can have the most corrupted. It is a race for who is going to be the most corrupted, who can thief the most money and get away with it. And everybody are all equal participants of the corruption that is going on, meaning PNP and also the JLP. Here are some other facts as it pertains to Darrell Vaz, specifically from Portland. He lost his visa to the United States, or he lost his United States visa. One of the reasons that is circulating out there is because his name has been calling up on all sorts of smuggling. As it pertains to your security, National Security Minister, Dr. Horace Chang, to be specific, he cannot go to the United States to represent Jamaica as our security minister. Whenever the Prime Minister goes to the United States, he cannot be accompanied by Mr. Chang for the same sorts of reason. So people, make me know, make it make sense. It is what we call the pot is calling the kettle black. It is a whole bunch of corrupted hypocrites vying who is going to be the worstest of them all. Point blank and period.